There's a moment when sheer capability stops being just a number, when strength becomes something you feel through the steering wheel, the suspension, the air vibrating around a machine built to move mountains. You hear it in the low rumble before dawn on a work site, in the calm confidence of a driver who knows their rig can pull, haul, and deliver without hesitation. It's the quiet power of knowing the hardest jobs have already met their match. This story isn't about luxury or speed. It's about dominance measured in torque, endurance, and trust earned over decades of heavy lifting. The latest chapter brings new records, new technology, and a new definition of what tough means in the modern age of American work trucks. But behind every big number lies a bigger question. How far can innovation push raw mechanical strength before it changes the game entirely? Stick around because this is one you'll feel in your chest. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments what truck or model you want us to break down next. The 2024 Ford Super Duty enters this story as more than just the next iteration of an American icon. It's the clearest statement yet from Ford about how it sees the future of heavy-duty trucks. When the company set out to update its cornerstone workhorse, the mission was simple on paper but monumental in scope. Build the most capable truck on the planet without sacrificing usability or the trust of the people who depend on it. From the first sketches inside Ford's Dearborn design studios, engineers and designers faced a balancing act. Modernize everything, but never lose the grit that defines the Super Duty name. Every curve of the 2024 body, every bolt of its frame, reflects that tug-of-war between tradition and transformation. To understand where the 2024 Ford Super Duty came from, you have to rewind through decades of pickup evolution. Ford didn't invent the heavy-duty category, but it has dominated it for generations. Back in the late 1990s, when the first Super Duty lineup split from the lighter F-150 family, the goal was clear: separate the work-focused machines from the lifestyle trucks. Over time, the Super Duty became a symbol, not just of capacity, but of commitment. Farmers, contractors, and haulers adopted it as an extension of themselves, a tool built to last through abuse, weather, and mileage. By the time the 2020s rolled around, though, the game had changed. Towing and payload wars among heavy-duty manufacturers had escalated to the point where power alone wasn't enough to win. Efficiency, connectivity, and comfort had entered the equation, and Ford needed to respond without alienating the loyalists who prize simplicity and toughness over screens and software. When development began for the 2024 Ford Super Duty, engineers were handed a tall order: make it stronger, smarter, and safer, while ensuring that the foundation, those ladder frames, those axles, that sense of mechanical honesty, remained intact. They started with the structure. The fully boxed high-strength steel frame was re-engineered to be lighter yet more rigid, capable of handling both higher payloads and the punishment of commercial use. Ford's team didn't stop there. They scrutinized suspension geometry, reinforced critical welds, and upgraded mounts to accommodate unprecedented torque levels from a new generation of power. Stroke diesel and gas engines, but the brilliance of the 2024 Super Duty isn't only in its brute force. It's in how that force is managed. Ford realized that hauling 15 tons of trailer is useless if the driver feels overwhelmed or unsafe. So, while the headlines shout about 200 pound-feet of torque, the real story lies in the precision of how it's delivered. Transmission software recalibrations make shifting under load smoother. Adaptive steering adjusts input sensitivity based on speed and weight distribution. Even the trailer hookup process has been digitized with onboard cameras and alignment aids. It's power made approachable, technology in service of control. Design-wise, the 2024 Ford Super Duty walks a fine line. On the outside, the look is unmistakably Super Duty: massive front fascia, squared-off proportions, and that towering stance that signals authority from a mile away. But there's nuance here. The designers talk about industrial evolution, modernizing without sterilizing. The headlights now integrate C-clamp LEDs that echo Ford's broader truck lineup, while airflow management was refined to cool the big diesel's heart under grueling loads. Inside, the cabin feels closer to an upscale SUV than a job site hauler. Materials are tougher, yet surfaces are cleaner and more ergonomic. Massive digital displays coexist with physical switches, because Ford knows that gloves don't get along with touchscreens. Then there's the matter of usability. The 2024 Ford Super Duty isn't trying to impress luxury buyers. It's trying to make a 16-hour workday easier. That's why Ford invested in things like onboard power systems that can run tools directly from the truck, multiple camera views for backing into tight spaces, and telematics integration for fleet operators. It's a truck built not only for personal pride, but for professional productivity. The key insight driving this generation was that reliability isn't enough anymore. Efficiency, uptime, and digital connectivity define value in a modern work environment. Ford's engineers responded with a platform that supports over-the-air updates, predictive maintenance alerts, and modular serviceability to keep downtime minimal. Culturally, the 2024 Ford Super Duty also represents a quiet but significant shift. It's no longer just a farmhand's truck or a contractor's dream. It's an aspirational symbol of American capability, a machine that blurs the line between labor and lifestyle. Owners don't just buy it for towing or payload. They buy it because it communicates self-reliance and perseverance. That's why Ford was careful not to chase trends like hybridization too aggressively in this model year. Instead, they focused on perfecting internal combustion for those who rely on it most. In the long run, electrification will come, but for 2024, diesel and gas remain king, and Ford made sure both are as refined and responsive as they've ever been. Underneath all of this progress, though, lies a bigger philosophical question. How do you evolve an icon without erasing what made it special? Ford's answer is embedded in the 2024 Super Duty's every component. They've chosen evolution over revolution, knowing that their core audience values dependability above novelty. Each design decision, from the robust driveline architecture to the refreshed cabin layout, reflects an understanding that progress should serve purpose. The 2024 Ford Super Duty, in essence, stands as a mirror to its customers. It's strong, unpretentious, and unafraid of hard work, yet it embraces just enough sophistication to thrive in a data-driven world. It honors the heritage of the badge while preparing it for the decade ahead. This duality, brawn with brains, defines not only the truck's personality, but also Ford's strategy moving forward. As we move deeper into this story, the question becomes less about what the truck can do, and more about how it redefines what a heavy-duty pickup should mean in modern America. Because beyond its specs and steel lies a cultural statement about resilience, progress, and pride, one that's about to be tested in the real world. Next, we'll see how the 2024 Ford Super Duty fares when that promise meets the marketplace, the competition and the expectations of drivers who don't settle for less than the toughest truck on the road. The 2024 Ford Super Duty didn't just roll off the assembly line as another upgrade, it entered a battlefield. When it hit dealerships, the reaction was immediate. The Super Duty name already carried enormous weight in the US truck world, but the 2024 version elevated that legacy with record-breaking specs that forced the entire segment to take notice. Buyers, competitors, and industry analysts all wanted to know the same thing. Had Ford finally pulled so far ahead that others couldn't catch up? The answer depended on who you asked and how you defined strength. For Ford loyalists, the 2024 Ford Super Duty validated decades of faith. This truck wasn't just a machine. It was proof that Ford still understood what mattered most to real workers. The Power-Stroke diesel became the centerpiece of conversation, not just for its immense torque, but for its balance of power and reliability. Yet beneath the celebration, questions about long-term durability surfaced. With outputs climbing beyond what even seasoned mechanics expected, could driveline components, cooling systems, and transmissions endure the strain? Ford countered those doubts with a combination of testing transparency and engineering redundancy. Every Super Duty variant underwent extreme validation: hot weather towing in the Southwest, Arctic cold starts, high-altitude hauling, to prove that this wasn't just marketing bravado, but competition is relentless. Another manufacturer quickly responded with its own torque claims, igniting another round in the ongoing heavy-duty arms race. Ford's edge wasn't just horsepower, it was how that power translated into real-world usability. Drivers found that the 2024 Super Duty delivered torque exactly where it mattered most, early in the rev range. That made a difference when pulling excavators up grades or maneuvering horse trailers through mountain passes. Ford's 10-speed automatic, refined for smoother gear transitions, helped maintain composure under load while preserving efficiency. That tuning balance, raw energy meeting precision, became one of the truck's defining traits. Beyond performance, the 2024 Ford Super Duty reshaped expectations for comfort and technology in the heavy-duty realm. Reviewers who once dismissed large pickups as crude or unrefined were taken aback by the quiet cabin, supportive seats, and digital intelligence built into the dashboard. Ford's decision to include features like Pro-Trailer Hitch Assist and real-time towing diagnostics wasn't just about convenience. It was about minimizing error in high-stakes situations. When you're hauling 40,000 pounds, a missed connection or misjudged angle isn't a small mistake. It's a disaster. By blending technology with mechanical confidence, Ford positioned the Super Duty as not just the strongest, but also the smartest work truck available. That balance resonated deeply with American buyers. The 2024 Ford Super Duty didn't need a flashy marketing slogan. Its reputation spoke for itself through job site performance and word-of-mouth validation. Yet its growing sophistication also brought debate. Some longtime owners voiced concern that Ford was moving too far toward digital dependency, fearing that complex systems could mean more downtime if sensors failed or software glitched. Ford's defense rested on its extensive dealer network and over-the-air diagnostic capabilities, allowing issues to be addressed faster than ever. It was a calculated trade, a slight increase in complexity for a dramatic leap in operational efficiency, fleet managers noticed. Large companies managing hundreds of heavy-duty units began switching to the 2024 Ford Super Duty, not only for capability, but for cost of ownership advantages. Predictive maintenance algorithms reduced unexpected breakdowns, while telematics helped optimize fuel use across entire fleets. Ford wasn't just selling trucks, it was selling data-backed productivity. This strategy turned the Super Duty into a cornerstone of Ford's broader commercial ecosystem, proving that innovation could drive profitability as well as performance. Of course, every success invites scrutiny. Environmental advocates questioned whether pushing diesel power to new heights made sense in an era of tightening emission standards. Ford countered by emphasizing cleaner combustion technology, advanced exhaust treatment, and compliance with all EPA and CARB regulations. Still, the Super Duty's enormous torque figures symbolized an ongoing tension between performance culture and sustainability goals. It's a tightrope every automaker must walk. Satisfy the core customers who rely on torque today, while preparing for a future where electrification could redefine what heavy-duty means entirely. The 2024 Ford Super Duty found itself at the crossroads of that transition. Inside Ford, discussions about future-proofing were already underway. Hybridization remained off the table for now, given the weight and complexity it would add. But electrified auxiliaries, like onboard generators and power outlets, offered a glimpse of things to come. For now, Ford chose to let the 2024 Super Duty stand as the last great combustion-powered champion before the inevitable electric era. The strategy was clear: dominate this generation before reimagining the next. Public reception reinforced that decision. Demand for the 2024 Ford Super Duty surged, particularly for the high-output diesel variants. Waiting lists stretched for months, and dealerships reported customers trading in relatively new trucks just to get the latest model. The appeal went beyond specs, it was emotional. The truck became a status symbol of capability, a statement piece that said its owner valued function over flash, but demanded excellence in both. In rural America, at construction sites and across open highways, the new Super Duty reasserted Ford's dominance in a way that few vehicles ever manage. Still, no machine is invincible. Owners soon discovered that the immense power of the 2024 Ford Super Duty came with new considerations. Tire wear accelerated under extreme loads. Maintenance intervals tightened for those who worked the trucks hardest. Yet, even these realities were part of the appeal. Owning such a powerful tool required respect. Ford provided extensive documentation, specialized training for commercial clients, and even digital tutorials embedded in the infotainment system. The message was clear: power is responsibility, and the Super Duty gives you both. In the aftermarket world, tuners and custom builders immediately began experimenting. Although Ford's control systems are tightly managed, enthusiasts always find ways to extract more from a platform like this. Yet the 2024 Super Duty's tuning ecosystem revealed an interesting trend. Most owners weren't chasing wild horsepower anymore. They were chasing optimization. Suspension leveling kits, upgraded towing hitches, and software refinements dominated rather than reckless power spikes. The culture around this truck had matured, reflecting a new generation of users who valued dependability and precision over excess. The 2024 Ford Super Duty also made waves in motorsport-adjacent arenas, tractor pulls, endurance towing competitions, and even off-road showcases. Everywhere it appeared, the truck proved its mettle. Yet what surprised many was how composed it remained in normal driving. Adaptive cruise control, lane management, and modern driver assists made it as comfortable cruising to the hardware store as it was towing a 30,000-pound trailer. That duality, brute strength with civilized manners, cemented its identity as the all-around benchmark. As months passed and the hype settled into everyday usage, the 2024 Ford Super Duty began defining new industry norms. Competitors were forced to respond with redesigns of their own. Some leaned into electrification. Others doubled down on diesel. But none could ignore what Ford accomplished. The Super Duty had transformed the heavy-duty segment from a niche utility market into a proving ground for technological and mechanical mastery. It raised expectations not only for trucks, but for how American manufacturers think about progress. In every measurable way, sales, satisfaction, and endurance, the 2024 Ford Super Duty set the tone for the decade ahead. But success brings consequences, and Ford's victory carried new pressure. Maintaining leadership means continuously pushing boundaries, and each leap forward risks alienating the purists who built the brand's reputation in the first place. As the Super Duty cemented its dominance, Ford had to confront a familiar question. When does evolution become excess? The answer would shape both the truck's legacy and the company's direction for years to come. And that's where the next part of this story leads, toward the lasting impact of the 2024 Ford Super Duty, what it means for future trucks, and how it defines strength in an era that's rapidly changing. The 2024 Ford Super Duty stands now as a milestone, a truck that doesn't just exist within its generation, but defines it. By this point in our story, we've seen how it conquered the spec sheets and the showrooms, but what truly cements its place in automotive history is how it's influencing everything around it. The 2024 Ford Super Duty didn't just raise numbers. It raised expectations. It made power accessible, comfort normal, and technology essential in a segment once defined purely by grit. That shift matters, because it shows how deeply the American idea of work has evolved alongside its tools. When Ford built the 2024 Super Duty, it wasn't just engineering metal, it was engineering identity. The truck reflects the modern American workforce, more connected, more informed, and more demanding than ever. This is a machine designed not only to pull weight, but to carry pride. For drivers who wake up before sunrise and measure days in what they've accomplished, the Super Duty isn't transportation, it's validation. The way Ford blended brute strength with digital refinement redefines what ownership feels like. Every button, every torque surge, every line of code reinforces that this truck is no longer just an instrument. It's a partner. But that partnership comes at a cultural crossroads. As the automotive industry moves toward electrification, the 2024 Ford Super Duty represents something of a paradox. It's the pinnacle of internal combustion, perfected at the edge of a changing era. This model may be remembered as the last of its kind, the final heavy-duty truck to push diesel and gas engines to their absolute peak before the switch to electric torque takes hold. That alone gives it a kind of mythic quality. It's both an ending and a beginning, a closing chapter on one technological age, and a blueprint for what resilience looks like in the next. The way the 2024 Ford Super Duty achieves this balance is deceptively simple. Its design doesn't scream futurism, but it's future-ready. The onboard power systems hint at electric versatility to come. The digital ecosystem, those over-the-air updates, predictive diagnostics, and modular software, lays the groundwork for trucks that will one day self-monitor and self-optimize without driver intervention. It's a bridge between analog muscle and digital intelligence. And perhaps that's its greatest contribution, proving that you don't have to choose between toughness and technology. You can have both, seamlessly intertwined. In the long view, the 2024 Ford Super Duty's impact will ripple through the industry. Manufacturers are already studying its approach to integration, how it made technology an ally rather than a gimmick, how it used comfort to enhance endurance, and how it managed to remain loyal to traditionalists while attracting a new generation of owners. It sets the benchmark not just for what a truck can do, but for how a truck should feel to live with. That feeling, the confidence, the control, the pride, can't be engineered overnight. It's earned through decades of listening to drivers who expect their machines to match their will. And yet, there's a quieter side to its legacy. The 2024 Ford Super Duty reminds us that progress doesn't always mean reinvention. Sometimes it means refinement. Ford didn't chase wild design revolutions or marketing gimmicks. Instead, it improved what mattered: visibility, towing stability, driver confidence, ease of service. These are unglamorous virtues, but they're the foundation of loyalty. Every time a driver hooks up a fifth-wheel trailer, powers a job site through the Pro Power onboard system, or simply climbs into the cab after a long day and feels that reassuring solidity, the truck pays off its promise. Looking ahead, the Super Duty's influence extends beyond the roads. It speaks to America's enduring fascination with capability, our collective desire to own something that can do more than we ask of it. Even in an era of electrics and autonomy, that desire won't fade. It will evolve. The Super Duty's DNA, durability, dependability, dominance will live on in whatever form the future takes, whether that's diesel, hybrid, or all-electric. For now, the 2024 model stands as the high water mark of what combustion-era engineering can achieve when guided by purpose. So when the story of the 2024 Ford Super Duty is told years from now, it won't just be about torque numbers or towing charts. It'll be about a moment in time, when a company and a community decided that good enough wasn't good enough. It'll be about a truck that carried the weight of tradition into the future without dropping a single ounce of authenticity. And that's the kind of strength that never goes out of style. The 2024 Ford Super Duty now sits in showrooms and job sites as both a tool and a trophy, proof that innovation and endurance can coexist without compromise. For US buyers, the takeaways are practical and clear. First, this truck redefines what everyday usability looks like in the heavy-duty world. The ride quality, once stiff and punishing, is now composed even under load. The power delivery, once overwhelming, is refined and controllable. And the cabin, once utilitarian, now feels purpose-built for long hours of productivity. The 2024 Ford Super Duty is not luxury masquerading as labor, it's labor elevated by intelligence. In terms of ownership, prospective buyers should know that the 2024 Ford Super Duty demands respect. Maintenance remains key. Diesel variants require precise attention to fluid health and filter intervals. And while Ford's over-the-air diagnostics help catch issues early, a disciplined maintenance schedule still separates lasting performance from premature wear. Fuel economy, as expected, takes a backseat to power, but the efficiency gains from the reworked 10-speed transmission make long hauls more manageable than older models. Those stepping into one for the first time should also factor in the size. It's massive, even by pickup standards. Parking, turning, and urban maneuvering require patience, though Ford's advanced camera systems ease much of the challenge. On pricing, the 2024 Ford Super Duty reflects its stature. Entry-level trims remain within reach for fleet buyers, but the high-output diesel and premium spec models push into luxury SUV territory. Still, for many owners, that price translates into investment rather than expense. This truck's resale values remain strong, driven by reputation and scarcity. Long waitlists and limited allocations have kept demand robust. For used buyers, that means holding power that rivals classic workhorses from previous decades. Reliability so far appears solid. Early reports indicate that Ford's emphasis on testing paid dividends, with minimal systemic issues emerging from initial production runs. The new powertrains have proven durable under fleet abuse, and Ford's dealer support network continues to give it a major advantage for commercial operators. The Super Duty's engineering depth and parts availability ensure that even in remote areas, help and hardware are rarely out of reach. For anyone whose livelihood depends on uptime, that kind of dependability isn't a feature, it's a necessity. Availability, however, remains tight. Certain trims and configurations still face extended lead times due to supply chain constraints and demand outpacing output. That scarcity has made the 2024 Ford Super Duty something of a badge of honor, a machine that signals both capability and perseverance in acquiring one. For buyers weighing import alternatives or lighter-duty trucks, the difference is simple. There's no true substitute. The Super Duty sits in its own class, both in function and in symbolism. In the bigger picture, the 2024 Ford Super Duty will likely stand as a time capsule of the combustion era's final apex. It embodies the best lessons of mechanical design before electrification reshapes the landscape. When historians or enthusiasts look back, they'll see a truck that didn't apologize for its size, power, or ambition. It simply executed them to perfection. For American drivers who still measure worth in torque, endurance, and legacy, this model will remain the reference point for years to come. And that's the essence of the 2024 Ford Super Duty. A machine that reminds us, strength is not just measured in tons pulled or pounds carried, but in the confidence it inspires. It's a reminder that progress isn't about abandoning tradition, it's about perfecting it. Long after newer technologies arrive, the Super Duty's spirit will linger wherever people still work, haul, and build with purpose. Because at the end of the day, the 2024 Ford Super Duty isn't just a truck, it's America's definition of unstoppable.